Hello, everyone. We are so excited that you're with us today. And we have Nick Crowder. He is a realtor in Portland, Oregon, and he leads a team. He's actually sold a real estate team and leads another one. He also serves as a real estate expert for all kinds of media. And he's wrote a book called The Golden Handoff. And he's going to be discussing key points to help you grow your real estate career and how to sell it when you're done. So, Nick, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. Excited to talk to everyone.
So, first, I want to talk about how agents can grow their business by contacting people who are going to retire. So, talk about that aspect of your book.
Yeah, I realized this is goes back to 2010. And so for any realtors who are around then, I started in '06, and 2010 we were in the Great Recession. And I looked around and there was a lot of really great agents at my office who were changing careers, who had to move because their spouses got jobs in other states. And they had these really great businesses. They had great relationships. And I realized that those relationships are really worth a fortune. But the sad thing is, when realtors retire, what do? Most of them don't do anything. Their book of business just disappears. Their clients go find other agents. Maybe they refer one or two things, but there's no real plan for them. And so I was able to help agents in my office who were getting out of the business. And I was basically just taking over where they left off. So I made the calls, I did the appointments, I hosted the client events, did the marketing, and took over. And I realized that there's this huge mistake a lot of agents make. They think that when they retire, people are still going to call them and then they can just refer it out to their friends at the brokerage. But the truth is, all of our clients already know 5 other realtors. And once you're retired or once you stop marketing and talking to people, they're going to work with other people and you're not going to get a referral fee. And you have no idea if your clients are picking a good agent or a bad agent. And so what I figured out in doing the Golden Handoff is basically just getting a referral agreement for every client that agent had. So instead of, like, we all know referral fees, right? That's easy. But instead of getting a referral fee where, Chantel, I sell a house in Portland and my clients are moving to your market, and I say, hey, Chantel's a great broker. She's going to help you buy a house. You get a client, I get a referral fee. It's a great deal. But what if we're in the same market and I say, hey, I'm going to be moving across the country. I need someone to take over all my clients. And now you're doing the follow-up calls, you're doing the listing appointments, you're showing the houses, and you're doing all the marketing. And it works incredibly well, to the point where the first couple of businesses I bought, we did as many sales with that client list as the agent who retired was doing. So if they were doing 6 million a year, we did 6 million a year. If they were doing 10, we did 10. And for me and my team, the thing that was so great about it is we were still managing our own clients, right? But now we've gone from 300 clients to 600 clients and then 1,000 clients. And that's a big part of why I had to build a team in the first place, is because we ended up with such a big list of clients that it was really difficult to keep up without having other agents make calls and be available to show the houses and do the appointments.
I love that so much. So I love kind of starting with the end in mind, because that is so important. So first, let's start with the exact script. If you were going to call someone, let's say we've got young folks on here and they've got some friends who are retiring, what would this script look like that you would do if you were going to call someone who was getting older and you were suggesting this idea?
Yeah. So honestly, one of the reasons I wrote the book, it started out as a white paper or marketing piece that I was going to give to agents so they would be aware of the idea. And so the book's out there. So anyone can go on Amazon and buy the book and share it with someone they think is retiring and say, hey, I've got this. I was on this call this morning. I learned about something new and I wanted to share it with you. The script I use, it depends on how much of a relationship you have. So if it's someone you know very well, like, so say it's a mentor or someone in your office that you talk to a lot, it would just be something like, hey, I wanted to chat with you because I've always admired your business and you've had this amazing career. And I'm curious what your plan is when you're done selling. So I don't use the word brokering, agent, realtor. I use the word sales. So when you're done selling, what is your plan with your client list? And 99% of the agents you talk to don't have a plan. And so for the people that have taken advantage of this, there was a big coaching group that one of their clients used this and became the number 2 agent in their market the second year they were in business. Because it's an unfair advantage because you're growing exponentially, right? You're not growing by one client at a time or one referral at a time. You could double your business overnight with the right handoff. So if it's someone where you know them in the market, but you don't have a strong relationship, the conversation is probably the same, saying like, hey, I wanted to reach out to you because you've been an amazing agent in our market and we've done a couple deals in the past. And I would love to take you out to lunch or happy hour because I'm curious, what your plans are with your business when you're done selling. And I have a great solution that I wanted to share with you. So something like that. It just depends on how much relationship you have with the person. But I give away the book all the time. We're talking to a broker that's going to be is kind of semi-retired about taking over their business, and my hope is that we can get them to commit to referring their clients to one of my agents because they're a specialist in industrial real estate, and I have a broker that wants to specialize in that. And so, if we can give them a huge head start, that would be awesome.
Okay, so I want you guys to type this right now in the chat because what he's really talking about is real leverage, right? And one of the things that drives me crazy with real estate agents, like I literally am just like, oh my gosh, we have to get some leverage here. And they don't know how to do it. And so if you've never heard the word leverage is the difference between your input and what comes out, right? So it's the discrepancy between what you're putting in, all of your effort, and then what you're getting out. And to me, talk about leverage with this, putting it in. And so the example is like, if you opened up, a yogurt shop, right? You've got to put in a lot of time to get out a little bit of money. But if you create a program like this, where you're making a few phone calls, you're now, saying, especially that the biggest leverage is on the other side, right? Where you're selling this book of business to someone and now they're doing all the hard work and you're getting all the money coming back in. And it's really just changing that mindset where you're going, I want to be able to put in a little bit of time to be able to get a lot of money. And I don't have to, every time I work, because with real estate agents, they're like, if I sell a house, I close a house, then I get paid. And it's changing the mindset, and kind of increasing that lever. Don't you agree?
Yeah. I think there's a concept of having a key referral partner. And what I mean by that is for anyone here that works with a flipper that buys and sells multiple homes a month, right? You have one relationship that equals more than one deal. So Chantel, you were saying, one closing, one commission, but those relationships can be amplified. Same thing if you work with a new construction home builder and they build, 100 homes a year and you sell all those homes, you're only talking to one person, right? You're not managing thousands of clients to try to get a couple deals. In that same way, when you buy a business from a retiring agent or someone who's they don't have to just be the oldest person either. One of our best deals was with a younger agent who was going on a sabbatical to do a different job. They were going, it's in the book. One of the brokers, David, left Portland to go to LA to work on a movie, but it's like a 20-hour-a-day job in another state, in another city. So he couldn't keep doing real estate in Portland. So we basically managed his clients and his business while he was gone for about a year and a half. And we made an extra $100,000 on top of what we already did on our own team. And he got $50,000 in referral fees in 1 year, which he used to buy a house when he came back to Portland a year and a half later. So again, I call it exponential growth and by referral, which is really different, because the reason we don't all work exclusively by referral, which is what everyone wants to do, is it's like, well, yeah, I love referrals, but I don't get enough of them to hit my goals, right? I want to sell 50 homes. I got 30 referrals. Now I need to go find 20 more people to help buy or sell. Now imagine you have an agent that's retiring and they've got a client list of 300 people. That one relationship, that one sale of convincing that retiring agent to work with you and let you manage their business and client list and do the appointments and do the marketing could double your business or triple your business, and you put you in a position where now your struggle isn't getting deals, your struggle is managing growth, that's the side of the equation you want to spend more of your time on, is managing growth, not trying to find a deal.
Yeah. And if you're listening to this, speaking of leverage, because it's like, I'm so big on this, one of the things that you guys, I'd love to see all of you do, I want you to write this down: leverage around labor, where you're buying other people's time. So like, one version of leverage is that if you're currently doing $15 an hour of work, right, you can get someone else to do it and gain that time back. And if you know that you make about $300 an hour on the phone selling, then you can kind of swap that out. Or if you could pay someone $15 an hour to send text messages and emails, and instead of you paying them $15 an hour, instead of you doing that job, you now know your worth is $300 an hour. There's your leverage in buying other people's time. And so what you are basically doing in his scenario is the ultimate leverage, because whoever you're buying this book of business from has already spent however many years, right, building this amount of business. And now you're leveraging all the time that they've done. So who cares that you're paying them a referral fee? You're using leverage to do that. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And you talked about how long it takes. It took them their whole career. You're getting the benefit of someone else's entire career overnight.
Mm-hmm.
So if there's people on this call that have been in business for, 2 or 3 years, and you buy a business of someone who's been in business for 7 years, it's like you've spent 10 years building a business, but you did it in 3.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I bought 6 or 7 businesses in our growth phase. And like Chantal mentioned, my business now is in Oregon and Washington. We do primarily commercial and investment real estate sales and leasing. And so our residential business was close to 700 people. And I basically worked out a golden handoff with a team I knew in town to manage all of those relationships. And they've done a phenomenal job. And for the lead agent, it's doubled her business this year. And so she's the number one agent in her office. And it's all by referral. And it's just staying in touch with people. It's the process is not complicated. It's just having it on your schedule and doing the work. But yeah, the power of growing your business with this is really powerful. And I want to show you guys. I promised Chantel I would share this with you guys. And I would encourage everyone to write this down. The website is goldenhandoff.com. And right here is the calculator. So I'm going to zero out our results here. So I built this calculator based on the model in the book. And it's basically, the referral fee goes from 30 to 20 to 10 over 3 years. So it averages 20% referral fee. And if you know 2 things, if you know how many repeat and referral clients that retiring agent closed, let's say that they did 24 closings from repeat and referral clients. And let's say their average commission is $12,000. So we're not talking New York City. This is very much like average sales. That retiring agent, if you're able to continue to do that many deals from their database, will get almost $200,000 in referral fees in 3 years. But now if you roll down here to what you're going to get as an adopting agent, it's even better, right? So this is 80% of this referral, these closings, right? Because you're paying the referral fee. So almost $700,000 gross profit to you. But what happens every time you get a listing or you get a buyer? if you do a great job, you're going to get referrals, right? You're going to have sign calls, you're going to get leads. And if you can get a new closing from every 2 closings from the database, it adds another 432. You keep all that money though. There's no referral fees on that because that's based on your open houses, your marketing, your postcards, all the work you're doing. So you add that together, it's 1.1 million of profit, gross profit over 3 years. And look at this, it's only 24 deals. You're not doing, 500 deals a year or something with a huge team. This is a very, not a rookie, but not some super producer. This is just a solid 2 deals a month business, like just a full-time professional agent. So I wanted to share this. You can look at any business you could want in the world. So, I did a coaching call for a group in Manhattan. Their top agent had done 3 deals, but their average sale was 20 million. So their average commission was like $300,000. So that's what that would look like. It was pretty mind-boggling that they did like huge condo sales and their average sale was 20 million each. So, but they only did 3 deals. So it's pretty easy. You don't do a lot of work, but you get paid a lot for it. A good job if you can get it. One
I
other
love
thing
this.
I wanted to
Go ahead.
mention. Yeah, Chantel. So just everyone write down goldenhandoff.com. You can spend time on it, but I wanted to show you just on the homepage. If you scroll down here and just say sign up, you just need your name and email, and it will automatically send you access to all of this stuff. So the calculator, the scripts and dialogues we're talking about, Chantel, for both agents, announcement letter, contract template, marketing piece, handout for retired agents, all this stuff is there. And it's all editable. So this is all Word or Publisher files. So you can put your photo on it, put your information on it. I tried to make it really easy to use this toolkit and get started right away.
I love that.
And now a word from our sponsor, Kanzel Realty. Run your business your way, only at Kanzel Realty. You can have all the freedom with none of the standard real estate red tape. If you're an agent, you get to run the show however you want and be your own boss. If you want to launch a team, you don't have to jump through all the hurdles and holdups. From day one, you'll have tons of tools and perks to offer your team. Powerful real estate tech like KV Core, Brokerman, and Skyslope. If you want to be your own brokerage or already have your own brokerage, that's not a problem either. You'll still get to run it however you want. All Kanzel requires is a small Powered by Kanzel logo next to yours. You can be the broker, you can be the manager, and you get to determine splits. You get all the tech, admin support, ownership stock, and revenue share, but most importantly, all the freedom, all the time, only at Kanzel Realty.
And one of the things that I want to mention is, one of the things I've noticed with agents is some of them have lost their motivation. And the reason why is because they don't ever change the leverage of what motivates them to get up every day. And this is really deep because I want to just stay here for a minute, because think about Tom Brady. He played last night and they did not have a good game. I don't know if you watched the football game last night, but, I heard that Tom Brady, when he started, the reason that got him so good is to prove the fact that he was like the 6th round draft pick. And that's what got him going every day, because he kind of had a chip on his shoulder of, being 6th round draft pick. And he wanted to prove his greatness. And, now his motivation is a little bit different. He wants to be kind of the GOAT, the greatest of all time. And, if you think about someone like, Michael Jordan, he said, one of the things he said is that, I get up every day and I play because there's a kid in the stands waiting to see me, and they've maybe saved up money and they want to see me. And it's just changing the leverage on yourself of what motivates you. And so for me, what I love about what you're doing is that you're basically saying, okay, even in ourselves, we kind of have to change where our motivation is and where our leverage is. And, a lot of people are thinking, well, I'm not ready to retire right now. I'm not ready to do the golden handcuff. Well, you've got to put some things in place right now to be able to do that, even golden handcuff. Like, for example, if you are not putting in place like a good system of putting your clients in a database and having all their information, and you're doing things from your iPhone and stuff like that, you're not going to be able to hand this off to anyone, right? Talk about that for just a little bit of like what they need to put in place, because you need to go, all right, if I really do want to do this golden handcuff, I've got to put some things in place to make this work.
Yeah, I mean, you nailed it. I think you said the word database. And so the more diligent you can be about making sure you put everyone you talk to and meet in your database and you keep it organized as best you can. Is it a buyer? Is it a seller? Are they going to downsize? Are they moving up? Do you know when they're going to want to move? For the people that obviously you're not setting appointments with right now, you got to ask, well, when do you think the next time you're going to move is? And if that's 2 years from now or 5 years from now, having a reminder to check in with those specific people when the time is right for them. So yeah, the better your database is in terms of having the information, and the better you do consistently communicating with people and staying top of mind. So some of that social media, some of that's email, some of that's phone calls, meetings, client events, newsletters, however you're doing that to stay in front of people and stay relevant. The better job you do with that, the more valuable your business is for you now, and the more valuable it will be when you sell it, because your endorsement, when you do a golden handoff to that adopting agent. So when you're finally ready to do that, the more people know and love and trust you, the more your endorsement matters. And when your endorsement matters a lot, those people are going to work with that adopting agent if you pick the right person. So as long as they're
like
doing
having
their job,
like their favorite things, right? Like having a list of, what's their favorite coffee, what's their favorite gift, making sure you have the right email, making sure you have their updated phone numbers, what's their Facebook, all of that. Wouldn't you say?
oh yeah. I mean, the better your data is and the better you are at staying consistent with those people and staying connected, the more value that business is going to have. Like I said, a 6 million a year business gross sales, which is not huge. That would be in our market right now, that would be selling 10 houses a year. At the time it was 20 because the houses were worth a lot less. But, today that would be selling 10 houses a year. They got $50,000 in referral fees. That's a pretty good deal. And so making 50 grand a year doing nothing is a good job to have. And if your business is bigger, it could be hundreds of thousands of dollars. And even for a smaller agent, even if it's 15, you do a couple closings, that's still a real amount of money. That's still paying for a great vacation. That's still helping fund a college fund for grandkids. That's still making a difference. You could donate it. You could use it for your retirement, retire earlier. What you do with the money is up to you. But the fact is that most agents when they retire don't get anything at all. And that drives me crazy, because your business and your relationships are worth a fortune. And so when you're ready to be on that side of it, it's about finding the right agent. And as simply as I can put it, you would want to hire an agent that you would hire to like help sell your house or help you buy a house. If you're talking to people, but you couldn't honestly say, I would work with this person, it's the wrong person. If you're talking to someone that wants to grow their business and you trust enough and have enough confidence in that you would hire them to list your house or help you buy a house, then you probably got the right person.
I want you guys to type this in the chat. The most successful people keep the end in mind. I'm not going to be focusing on today. I'm going to be focusing on the end goal. And literally, that's why we created Canzel, because we said, you know what? I don't want to just do today, sell a house and then close it. I want to create passive income so that I can start attracting other agents and being able to get paid for life and even will that to my children. And so I want you guys to really start considering, can I spend 30 minutes a day on attracting agents and keeping the end in mind. And really with this book, Golden Handoff, I think that is constantly saying to yourself, what am I going to do to make sure that I personally have the systems and tools in place to be able to hand it off? And then number two, what can I do to start attracting and contacting other people and having this conversation? So, kind of one more time, I want you to give us the conversation that you would do with someone that's retiring.
Sure.
Just some different tips of like, how do they even go about doing that? Because I think them getting, like you said, not just one person, but if they could get 5 or 6 people who are kind of in their retirement zone, would be a good idea.
Yeah, it'd be huge. So again, the conversation is, you call a retiring agent and say, hey, this is Nick. And I just wanted to say, I've always really admired your business and your career and all the work you've done. I've always kind of looked up to what you've done with it, your career. And I'm curious, what are your plans when you're done selling with your business? And 99% of people aren't going to have a plan. Every once in a while you talk to someone's like, oh yeah, my son's working with me. They're going to take over in 5 years. But again, I'm telling you that if you call 100 agents, 2 of them are going to say that. 98 of them are going to say, oh, I don't know. I'll probably just refer some stuff out, or, I've got a bunch of rentals. I don't need the money. I'm going to just, keep going. I feel I got 2 more good years left and then I'm done. One thing that's not in the book, Chantel, that I want to share with this group today is an idea of what I call a partial handoff.
Mm-hmm.
So the biggest objection you're going to get when you call people and you have this conversation and you ask them what their plan is they're going to say, well, I'm not ready to retire yet. But are they still producing at the level they were when they were Tom Brady in his 30s versus his 40s, right? And the answer is no. It's very rare that someone towards the end of their career when they're in their 60s is working as hard as they were when they were 35. And so they have a ton of relationships and people they know that they are not talking to, that they're not marketing to, and that they're not going to get any business from, but they could. And what a partial handoff is you talk with the retiring agent and say, what is the stuff you absolutely love to do and want to keep doing? And maybe it's, well, I live in this one community and I sell all the houses here, but I get a bunch of other stuff that I don't really like doing. Just doing my own community is enough for me to be happy right now. So you work out a deal where you say, why don't you keep doing the sales in your community? And then let me take care of everything that isn't what you want to do. Let me take care of all the sign calls and opportunities and the first time buyers that want to buy the affordable house and way away from where you live. And let me take care of all that stuff because I'm growing my business and I'm super excited about working on Saturday and Sunday and showing houses and helping as many people as I can. And I'm not focused on saying no to anything yet. I want to keep growing. I want to say yes. And so the idea is they get to keep doing the stuff they love, but they don't have to work on anything they don't want to do, but they still get a referral fee. And you get to still grow your client list. And when the time comes for them to actually fully retire, and they don't want to even do the sales in their community, now you take over the whole thing. And now you're not only helping on everything that's outside that community, but now inside. Now, what that is looks different to different agents. Maybe someone loves listings, but they don't want to work with buyers. So you work with all the buyers, they do all the listings. Maybe it's price point specific. They want to do everything over $1 million, but if it's under 800, they don't want to deal with it. They let you take care of it. So there's always something. We all have deals we would rather do, right? There's our ideal client, our ideal listing, our ideal situation. And we all do that, but then, our businesses are never made up of 100% ideal situations. We have, tough clients and tough sales and tough houses, and that's just how it is. But there's a lot of agents who, when they're getting towards retirement, they're phasing out and slowing down. And they're losing tons of money and tons of business because those people are still there. They're just working with other agents now. And if you can be the adopting agent to gather all those people back together, it can be a huge win. And then when they're ready to finally retire, like I said, you've already been working with them for years, paying referral fees. You're the obvious person to take over that final piece, whatever it is, whether it's the listings, whether it's the high end whether it's the community that they live in, whatever it is.
And I think that partial handoff is exactly how anyone should build a team. And, people should actually build teams a lot faster than they do. Just so you know, when I first got in real estate, I didn't like driving. I hired my first team member my first week in real estate. I wasn't even out of training because I knew I didn't like driving. So I was like, well, I sure as heck am not going to work with buyers. That's for darn sure. So I immediately was like, that's gone. And then I did listings, and then I said, okay, I'm just doing listings. And then I said, okay, I'm only doing listings at this price point. So that partial handoff doesn't just work for this. It also works for a lot of you guys have been holding back on building and starting a team. And today is the day that I'd love for you to change that mindset and change those 6 inches between your ears and start doing some different self-talk. Well, we are out of time, and this was amazing. I'd love for you to type in the chat your appreciation for Rick Crowder. This was very deep and very, very good. I hope you got tons and tons out of it, and I encourage you to share this episode with a lot of other agents once it comes out. So this was amazing, Nick. And again, if you are looking for his book, it's called The Golden Handoff, or go to thegoldenhandoff.com. Thanks for being with us today. We appreciate you, and stay tuned for another episode.
Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, leave a rating and a review so we can get this out to more agents. And tune in next week for another power-packed episode. This is the Millionaire Real Estate Podcast.